Well, the three R's were first developed by Russell and Birch when they wrote in 1959. I don't remember the exact title, but something like humane experimental techniques, something to that effect. And so they coined the term three R's: replacement, reduction, and refinement. So I think I talked about replacement in terms of a higher vertebrate animal with a lower vertebrate, actually, or in terms of a non-animal model, or an animal model with a non-animal model. So whether it's tissue culture, of course you still need animals for the tissue, but computer modeling, what have you. And then replacement, reduction, of course, is using the fewest numbers of animals in order to attain your scientific results, answer the question that you're trying to find out. And refinement is an area where we probably see the most growth. And refinement is usually associated with minimizing pain, distress, and discomfort. So refining techniques, whether they're experimental techniques, could be husbandry techniques and how you house the animals, refining the processes so that animals can be in environments that are maybe more naturalistic. There's refinements in veterinary medicine, so there are improvements in anesthetics or analgesics. But usually it's the husbandry and the experimental techniques that continually being refined. So we utilize these three R's: replacement, refinement, and reduction, in addressing what sorts of alternatives are out there in order to minimize pain, distress, and discomfort, which is really one of the main pillars of the community's concern, is making sure that the animals that we do use, that they're treated humanely, that making sure that the research is necessary and there aren't any alternatives, and that the animals receive humane, consistent care, and that there's a minimization of pain, distress, and discomfort. And all the polls continue to show that if we, as the research community, satisfy those concerns of the general public, then we will continue to maintain the public support. And that is where I think we need to do a better job in communicating with the public on that we are doing those things, that we are treating animals humanely, that we are making sure that the work that we do with animals is necessary and there aren't any alternatives, and that we minimize pain, distress, and discomfort. And one of the ethical principles that I utilize all the time, and we as an institution have utilized, is the principle number 4, the U.S. government principles, which talks about minimization of pain, distress, and discomfort. And if there's any lack of scientific evidence one way or another that a particular procedure that's being promulgated by an investigator causes pain, distress, or discomfort, then we can ask ourselves, well, if that procedure were to be conducted on a human being, and if we can imagine that procedure would cause pain or distress or discomfort, then we give the benefit of the doubt to the animal as well. So that's really a hallmark, I think, of the ethics as part of our rules and regulations is in those U.S. government principles. And in fact, with the training that I do with IACUC 101, that's probably the one area that we could do a better job in communicating just within our own community. I'm still surprised at the number of people who really aren't familiar with those U.S. government principles. They're familiar with the PHS policy on the humane care and use of laboratory animals. Most of them are familiar with the USDA regulations, USDA Animal Welfare Act. They're familiar with the Guide for the Care and Use of Laboratory Animals. But embedded in the PHS policy as well as the guide are these 9 basic U.S. government principles. And so I spend quite a bit of time, and our faculty spend quite a bit of time throughout the day talking about those U.S. government principles and how they really form the foundation for the ethics for what we do with animals. So minimizing pain, distress, and discomfort, making sure what we do, whatever the objective of the study is, making a connection with its relevance to improving human or animal health, advancing knowledge, making sure that the housing conditions are appropriate for the species, humane methods of euthanasia, conflict of interest. So, you could, and we always say, in IACUC 101, you could throw away the guide for the care and use of laboratory animals, although ALAC might not like that, or PHS. You could throw away the PHS policy, and you could throw away the Animal Welfare Act, and if all you had were these 9 basic principles, then you would have, and lived by those principles, and you would have the foundation of a ethical animal care and use program.